Hello and welcome. My name is Michelle and I am your emotional resilience coach. It is fantastic to have you join me today. Please don't forget to hit like, subscribe, the notifications button, and as always, I do love to hear from you. If there is something you want to know, if there is a question that you have, if there's something you just want looking for a little bit of clarity on, let me know on Instagram. You can DM me, you can leave a comment here, you can leave a comment there. If it's something short and I can kind of just get to, I'll do it there. If it is something that is a little bit longer and needs a bit of unpacking, I will come and do it over here. All right, there seems to be a lot of questions around narcissists. This is a topic that keeps coming up. It gets a lot of attention on Instagram. A lot of questions are coming and people are wondering, well, is this person a narcissist? Aren't they a narcissist? And it really isn't always that cut and dry. It takes a lot of time with the person, to be with the person, to spend time with the person, to see their habits, what pushes their buttons, what doesn't push their buttons. So it can be really tricky, and I especially don't like to say, oh, this person is or isn't a narcissist. I don't like to speak in absolutes. But what I can do for you, and what I have done for you in my book, Who Are You Beneath the Pain, is I have broken down into two main umbrellas what narcissists can look like. There is the obvious one. There is the one, the grandiose, loud, always needing the attention, always needing the spotlight, bigger and better and greater than everybody around them, needing everybody to know how grandiose is the narcissist's name, how grand they are, how amazing they are, needing so much attention. They tend to be quite extrovertish in their way. They adore the limelight. Everything is always about them, and they have no qualms about making everything about them. They are very loud, pretty obnoxious, in your face, and that's the easy one. That's the easy one to spot. And so you might know them, right? They don't hide. But what happens and what blindsides us is, because it's not spoken about enough, but there definitely does seem to be more traction in this area, is the fragile narcissist. They are a little harder to spot because you don't see it after spending a lot of time. And even then, you might be questioning, because they naturally know how to elicit a lot of sympathy from you. A lot of, oh my gosh, I want to rescue you, I want to help you, which is why narcissists and codependents tend to have this weird magnetism in their relationships, right? Where they're kind of drawn to each other, because the fragile narcissist is very wounded and you can almost see the pain that they were in. They don't have as much of a facade around them as the grandiose narcissist. And as a codependent, you want to fix and you want to make better. All right, so they seem vulnerable. And as I said here, you even want to rescue them. They have gone from tragic relationship to tragic relationship, and they will seem like martyrs. They will have plenty of cray-cray people in their lives that will tell you stories of cray-cray exes and cray-cray friends and cray-cray colleagues, and everybody's crazy and everybody's extreme and everybody expects too much and everybody is dramatic, and they don't see any of their own drama. No doubt, if you get too close and you don't play their game, you will be labeled one eventually too. You will be one of their cray-cray people. I said red alert to my fawns, that's the codependent, who will be coming up later in my book. Nothing is real with them, all right? They tell you just enough so that you can open up about you, but this is not to form any real connection with you. This is just so that they can have ammo to use against you, which they will do when they no longer have power or control over you. These people ask a lot of questions and they seem really interested in you, but really they are just looking for information that they can hold against you if need be. If you seem critical, or if you dare to call them out on their bad behavior, they will have a list of yours ready to fire back at you. Yet they won't always have the courage to do it straight to your face. They will pull your name through the dirt to anyone who will give them a sympathetic ear. They have so much self-loathing that your perceived disapproval will be enough to just push them over the edge and retaliate in the meanest of ways. They can criticize to their heart's content, but don't you even think about pointing out a fault in them. They will go from love bombing to smear campaigning at a flip of a switch and feel nothing about the damage they caused. Because if you had only just played the game and fed their ego, then none of this would have happened. It is not unlike a narcissist to turn the tables and accuse you of the very things that they are guilty of. They thrive on drama and attention for being the perceived victim. And then I said, men tend to, again, I never speak in absolutes, men tend to take the role of the grandiose narcissist and women the role of the fragile or vulnerable narcissist. All right. So what generally happens is they will have you hooked. They will have you hooked in believing their stories. They will find ways to try and find common ground with you. The reason why I say nothing is ever real with them is because these narcissists have a tendency of figuring out your pains, your weak spots, your difficulties, the things that you are struggling with, and they might change the details of the stories. They might change scenarios here and there, but what they'll try and do is they will try and have you believing, me too, right? That they have gone through a similar, if not the exact same thing, so that they can form a bond with you, so that they can connect with you, so that you can open up to them and give them more and tell them more and share more with them. And what they like to do then is just tuck it away in the back of their heads. And they use this information as a form of control and manipulation if they don't get their own way. This is how they know how to push your buttons, how to do things to really hurt you, to really get at you, to really get something out of you, some sort of attention, some sort of reaction. What they also like to do is push until you absolutely lose it, and then you flip out, and then they take a step back and they will say, I told you she was crazy, or I told you you were crazy. But what they've done is they have very cleverly basically used your own pain against you in ways that you would not believe possible, because it's not something that you would do. So our narcissist is not always obvious. If you have been blindsided by a narcissist, take heed. Many of us have been blindsided. A lot of people, a lot of clients that I've spoken to, they realize only much later that a parent or a grandparent or an aunt or someone was actually a narcissist, but they were very clever at the way that they showed up in life, that they seemed that they were always the victims, always the martyrs, always the ones hurting, always the ones in pain, always the ones having horrible things done to them and about them and said about them. And there was so much sympathy for that person that you excuse their bad behavior. You're like, oh, shame, you know what? They've been through so much. And what they do, though, is they want you. They want you to have an incredible amount of sympathy for them, so that if you don't toe the line, if you don't do what they want you to do, if you aren't controllable, they will basically use their story to continue to control you, or use your story and your pain against you to control you so that you do what they want. It's just really one big form of manipulation. And so you've just got to be onto it, be onto yourself, be onto them, be onto the fragile narcissist, because they are sneaky and can come out of nowhere. And really, I have sat with many people who just describe it as a soul-shattering experience. All right, If you have any questions, if there's anything you want clarity on, if there's anything you want to know, please do come on over to the Emotional Resilience Coach. Say hey to me there. DM me if there's anything private you want to deal with. If it's really big and needs unpacking, I will do it over here. If it's something I can deal with very briefly, I will try and do it over there. And yeah, take a deep breath with me. Acknowledge that healing is not easy. It's not for everyone. You're doing an amazing job. You're doing better than you think you are. And step forward and go on. Have a most empowered day.